Sunshine. Hot?
Yeah, that's one way of putting it, Carl. Yes, I've worked out you're probably about 20 paces over my left shoulder. And let me tell you, the temperatures out here are positively scorching, melting in fact. There's an ice cream van behind me that's been doing roaring trade over the last few hours on what is officially the hottest day of the year so far. 32 degrees, can you believe it? That's into the 90s in Fahrenheit in parts of the southeast. But here in Cardiff, we've fared very well, and across much of Wales too. It is, as I said, glorious out here. There's barely a ripple in the waves here in Cardiff. Weather. Nothing ever lasts for too long. It certainly keeps us on our toes, and certainly about to get rather eventful over the next few days. The tide is turning in favour of something slightly more, well, shall we say. So there you go, you know the drill, you know how this works. Get out here once the programme is finished, of course, and enjoy this lovely evening sunshine. More to come tomorrow, but after that, well, what can I say? You have been warned. So yes, there are thunderstorms on the horizon, you have been warned, but in the meantime it is bright and beautiful across much of Wales. And actually you can still feel the strength of the sunshine. It's very, very warm, with temperatures tonight barely dipping below 18 or 19 in Celsius, particularly in more built up areas in towns and cities. Maybe just a little bit fresher out towards coastal areas, slightly more of a breeze, a very welcome breeze developing here. But we're looking at general lows of around 11 or 12 in more sheltered rural spots. Thanks to the gentle breeze, we could again see the return of some mist and fog through the hills and valleys by the early hours of tomorrow morning. But tomorrow gets off to a bright and beautiful start nevertheless. Any early morning mist will lift very quickly thanks to the strength of this sunshine. Possibly a little bit more in the way of high level cloud bubbling up during the course of the day, sparking a few showers down across the Banau Brycheiniog, but I think for the most part we'll escape those. A generally fine, dry and sunny day with temperatures maybe a degree or two down on today's values. That's thanks in part to that cloud, maybe just a little bit more in the way of an easterly breeze developing as the day progresses too. But we're still looking at highs of 27, maybe a 28 in Celsius. Not bad at all for the time of year. However, through Wednesday afternoon and into the early hours of Thursday morning, we'll start to see the signs of that change I promised you. Sorry about that. The cloud will build and we'll see the first batch of wet weather starting to work its way in. Now, clipping into inland parts of Wales, much of Wales will escape the wet weather altogether, and you could be forgiven for wondering what on earth the fuss is all about. But if you do catch one of those showers, certainly through Thursday, you're going to know all about it. Heavy, thundery and possibly disruptive. Well, Lucrezia, here in Cardiff Bay at the moment, the sun is still shining as it is across much of the UK. In fact, you can still feel the heat from it. It's just that time of the year after all. But Cardiff Bay is a 500-acre freshwater. About that weather. Well, as we heard, it has indeed been the hottest day of the year so far. 32 degrees in Kew Gardens in the southeast. Temperatures overnight tonight in many areas barely dipping below around 18 or 19 Celsius. In the south in particular, could be a tropical night where temperatures hover at around 20 Celsius. But if you cast your eyes to northern areas, Scotland in particular, a very different story to tell under clear skies. Here we're looking at lows of 8 or 9 Celsius, so quite chilly for the time of year. Possibly some mist and fog through the valleys by the early hours, maybe some showers just creeping into the far southwest. But on the whole, tomorrow gets off to a really rather decent start. There will be blue sky and sunshine, but as the day progresses, the cloud will start to build. High level cloud, nothing too troublesome, and we could well see just a few showers sparked off by the temperatures, particularly over the hills and mountains in Wales, for example. But the temperatures, because of that cloud and a slightly more of a keen easterly breeze developing, perhaps not as hot as they have been out here today, but we're still looking at around 28, 29 Celsius. That is knocking on the door of 90 in Fahrenheit, and again very high levels of UV, so just be careful in that sunshine. But the fun and games begin. The change happens as we head through Wednesday afternoon into the evening with the first batch of wet weather, thunderstorms that will start to work their way into eastern areas in particular. And on Thursday, those thunderstorms, the lightning strikes, will work their way primarily across eastern parts of the UK. Some areas though, well, you could be forgiven for wondering what all the fuss is about, and we'll miss out on the thunderstorms altogether. So it's not going to be a washout, and the sun will keep shining despite the fact it should feel just that little bit fresher and more comfortable.